The Gabby Cabby, and he does the best tour, gives the best tour you're ever going to find anywhere in New York, taking you to places you probably have never been before, most likely, and it probably didn't even know existed. And he's on the line right now. By the way, his website is Gabby.com. Good morning, Peter.
Good morning, good morning. Live from the rainy streets of New York.
Have you had a lot of rain? Because we have.
No.
That's good.
Yesterday we had a lot, but we haven't had a...
And it's got to be...
And then they give us flash flood warnings, which is kind of strange in a city. You would expect that the sewers would be able to take away all the water, but they don't.
How about cool temperatures? Is it cool there in New York?
Oh, yeah,
today?
much cooler today.
Yeah. We're not going to get out of the 60s today.
Yeah, that's
Very cool.
We're probably going to not get out of the 70s.
Okay, Peter. I was talking about the fact that the mayor likes to fly around on a helicopter in New York City. And how much does that cost per hour for the mayor to fly around in a helicopter around New York City?
Something like $600 an hour.
Yeah.
I mean, the guy just doesn't care about image in any way whatsoever. He's almost as bad as Christie, the guy in New Jersey. You'd think, gee, go by helicopter, not such a good idea. We're not talking about an emergency. Somebody got shot, somebody got killed, it's a gigantic fire or something or other. It's his modus operandi. And, he does something very interesting every day. He has Gracie Mansion, which I don't know why in the world he ever moved into it, because he had a perfectly good house in Brooklyn. Mm-hmm. And what he does every day, he and I guess sometimes with his wife goes to the gym in Brooklyn, which is in the old neighborhood. And it's roughly 4 stops on the subway. And yet the guy always goes in a caravan with the SUVs and what have you. And, most people, if you think about it, he was really a small nobody before he got to be mayor.
Yeah.
So you think he'd be used to being a small nobody. But he's
loving
a tough guy.
Yeah. He's living the life. How about the 20-year-old New Jersey gal that ended up getting locked inside that night spot on the Lower East Side?
Yeah, well, what happened is that she went into the bathroom and she passed out because she'd been drinking too much, and now she wakes up, I guess it was in the morning, and she can't get out because they pulled down the gates, on the club when they closed and they left. So they made a big deal about it and how she's going to probably sue, the club and all that. Excuse me, I must be old-fashioned or something. What's a 20-year-old from New Jersey doing in a bar at 4 o'clock in the morning in New York City anyway? But I guess I'm old-fashioned. Now, I think that's the story.
The story I read is she says that she feels that her drink was spiked.
Yeah, well, maybe if she had been home watching television, she wouldn't have had that problem.
Yeah. 20 years old, and she shouldn't have been in the club anyway, most likely, I would imagine. So,
yeah.
Popular service, this is like Uber for dog owners and walkers. And it might be on the way out in New York City. It's called what?
All of a sudden, it's like the politicians got nothing better to do. They got to come up with something new. We have oodles and oodles of people walking dogs in New York City. I mean, it's really a very low-level job. Anybody can do it, and it really is great if you want to make some extra money. There's an awful lot of dog walkers. What happens is you give the key to your apartment to somebody that you trust, and and they come once or twice a day to take the doggie for a walk. Now, all of a sudden, it's become an industry where the city says there's actually a law that says you're not allowed to do that because that's considered boarding the dog, and you need a license to board the dog. It would seem to me that boarding the dog is taking it into a facility, not just walking it on the street.
So this is
they're going to start closing it down if they can.
So this is some legislator, some council person that's feeling like, these dogs could be in danger because these aren't licensed dog walkers. These people are nuts.
Well, you got to go. Yale University is presently running a 6-year graduate course in dog walking.
Okay,
Peter, do you have to clean up? You have to clean up after them when you do this?
No.
Hey, I don't mean you, but I mean...
I'm out of the dog business. When our kids grew up by attrition, we got rid of all the wonderful dogs we always had.
But I'm
not in that business. Yeah, of course they have to pick up.
Well, you couldn't pay me enough to clean up your dogs.
Don't pick up on the streets in New York. Some New Yorkers are going to say, hey, stupid, pick up after your dog. Yeah. New Yorkers go crazy over that.
Well, I feel the same way when you see that and somebody doesn't. It's like, what are you doing? And I just, it's funny. I saw a guy when we were in New York. He took out a hanky and he picked up the dog's stuff and then put it back in his pocket. I'm like, what are you doing with that?
There's all kinds of ways to do it. Some people have elaborate equipments, and it's a bag on the end of a stick, and they make a whole big thing about it. You know, look, if you want to show your real man, you just, pick it up with your fingers.
Well, there goes a real man right there. And how about this poster that is creating a bit of a to-do here in Jewish and Muslim communities in New York, where 176 languages are spoken, and it's a poster that shows a Jewish person and a Muslim making out in public. What is this and why?
Well, they're making when you say making out, that implies like a lot of sex. It's just well, I have a picture on the website. Come to think of it, Gabby.com.
Mm-hmm.
But it's a picture of a Muslim and a Jew smooching on the street. Not in New York City. I think originally it was in the Netherlands or something to promote. We should all be one big happy family.
Okay.
So now the poster is being shown around New York City. And people are getting upset and bothered by it because they think it's in terrible poor taste. Terrible poor taste what? I mean, I think it's a little corny, and it's certainly not going to make all the Jews love the Muslims and the Muslims love all the Jews. But I really don't see any reason to get upset or bothered about it.
Yeah. And then finally, I wanted to talk about how in New York, and this could happen to anybody, you could be a tourist and you get stopped for something or something happens, they seize your assets. And
your property. Like if you got
property.
I don't know, let's say you're doing something with a cell phone that you shouldn't be doing. I don't know, maybe that's a bad example. So they arrest you and they take your property. Everybody's seen enough movies to know that they put whatever they took from you into a little envelope, and they seal it, the death sergeant, and then presumably when you're getting out, you're going to get it back. Well, it turns out a lot of people aren't getting stuff back, and everybody's wondering, what's going on. Where is that stuff all ending up? I mean, is it a cop in Central Park at a table selling it? So they're kind of starting to look into that because it turns out lots of people have been arrested or detained and their property, like their watches and what have you, suddenly disappears. I'd hate to think that the New York City Police Department guys are stealing it.
Well, sooner or later, airlines, you might not know this, but at any, Peter, I'm sure you do, but any major city that has a good airport, there's a facility that usually once a month or something, after people don't claim baggage that was lost, they sell everything. And you can go in and buy bags and stuff. And, I'm wondering, do they do that with the stuff that's confiscated, or should it be given back to these
nobody
people?
knows. It's the beginning of a great story. The most outlandish thing that ever happened with me is somebody left a box in the back of the cab, and I checked it, and I opened it up. It was 12 sets of fake teeth. I mean, dentist teeth. Not the kind you wind up and go clickety-clack.
That's funny.
So I turned it into the taxi limousine commission, and the guy says to me, if nobody claims it in a month, you can have it. So I said, what am I going to do with 12 sets of teeth? He says, hey, that's the law, buddy. You can take the teeth. So a month later, I went back and I got the teeth. And I gave it to 12 people I knew. I don't think I gave one to you. I don't know why. Maybe I was too lazy to mail it to you.
I still have my own.
This would be sitting on the desk.
Okay. All right, good stuff there, Peter Franklin. We appreciate it, as always, in New York City. It's Gabby.com. Thanks, Peter.